one thing that I have found interesting in working with people from public health here at UCC is there are a certain like frameworks in public health which can be easily translated to studying indoor climate or studying even building energy usage. So, which would make our research much more applicable, and it could make our results more robust. And at the same time, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There is already something existing. So that's a nice kind of combination, uh, cross-disciplinary cooperation, which is always attractive as well.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about that multidisciplinary aspect. That's the same in research as well. There's different lenses that things are looked through from different disciplines. That's very difficult to comprehend unless you're having discussions with those people. It was one of the most informative times for me, actually, was during the COVID period, working with public health people, starting to look at air quality through the risk lens, where you didn't have all the answers, and that you found certain parts of the environment were able to react very differently in a space where we didn't have answers because they were used to working in that environment. Risk is a very different space to work in than absolutes and thresholds and those kind of things. So that's fascinating that you say that as well. How over the years, how have you found yourself doing certain research? So has it been that there's already a question being asked as part of a cohort or a group and you're invited or apply to answer that question? Or sometimes have you thought of things that need answering and develop that research from scratch? Like, how's it generally work for researchers out in the world? Are they given research to do generally, or are you developing that research almost completely from scratch yourself?
It would be a combination of both, and also it depends on what level are you at. So during PhD, you could have some initial input from your supervisor or colleagues or other professors in the group, and then you are supposed to build upon that to create something of your own. Like during postdocs or as a researcher, so it could be, and it often is, that there is already a funded project which has certain specific goals, and because your research interests intersected with those goals, so you have been hired for that, and then you are supposed to focus on like addressing those specific goals. Now you might have your own creative ways of how you decide to go from point A to point B, or how you are able to answer those research questions that were important for the project. So there's that kind of independence there, but at the same time there might be a framework that there are certain deliverables that need to be achieved. Like as you grow in that, at my level, it's a combination of like, so there could be specific projects I'm working on with collaborators where there is a defined research question, which maybe we came up together as a group, or maybe they already had something going on and they have invited me in because there is a challenge that they faced where they know I have an expertise. Or it could be my own project, like the one that I'm working on currently, so which we develop from scratch, that okay, this is something that needs attention, like trying up public health and classroom designs or classroom indoor climate. So that's something then you work on your own. It could be something very small, like the project that we had in Denmark. So it was because I was going to be there for 18 months, so it was supposed to be a small project where we had the idea was that probably whenever we go to classrooms, the research is kind of becoming like helicopter research. Like we go in, we put in some sensors, we say that this is going to monitor this, and then we take the data and go back. Sometimes there is also some feedback from the children, but in the process, like, what do the schools or the children or the teachers gain? Yeah, we can say that this will probably contribute to better standards for classroom design in the future. But what about those students in the classes that you visited? So we decided that, okay, let's make it more interactive. We'll just talk to the students. And the teachers were also interested in the sense that they don't just come to talk about your research, talk to them also about what you do as a researcher and how do you become a researcher. So that's kind of inspiring them towards STEM related activities.
Yeah.
And then you can also introduce what you're doing, why you're doing it. So then you did that, made some measurements, went back with the measurements to the children and so showed them that, okay, this is how your temperature in your classroom varies or how the CO2 in your classroom varies. And then got some feedback from them as to what they thought, why it might have varied this way, or like maybe the sun was shining, or maybe we left the classroom so that's why it has fallen, or one day the PM levels were high whereas the outdoor PM levels were low. Why is that? That was the single day in the entire 2 week monitoring period while the PM levels are high, and that's because apparently they were dancing in the classroom. Their children were dancing in the classroom, and we would never have realized that the PM levels were high because of that. We would have probably thought that there is something wrong with the sensor
Yeah.
if we didn't talk to the children.
Yeah.
And so that's how it panned out. I mean, it's probably not going to lead into any publications. That wasn't the goal. It was just to have this kind of more cooperative approach to studying indoor climate in classrooms, so that they don't feel that they're not part of the process, or
Yeah.